Hey guys! So I've been meaning to try this box of jelly gouache for about a year now. Actually, I ordered it online and kept it in my drawer for more than a year. So yeah, I am a master procrastinator and impulse buyer because everything you want to buy is at the tip of your fingers these days. So I finally found the courage. So I'll be unboxing this box of jelly gouache, as well as painting a small Studio Ghibli scene from Howl's Moving Castle, one of my favorite Ghibli films. So do stick around for that. Okay, so this box comes with 24 colors, and it also has a big mixing palette, which is very handy. Each of the colors comes in little boxes that look like little jellies, if you have ever had these kind of jellies, right? So it's really cute. And I think why I didn't want to open it was, because you have this feeling like it's a toy you bought from the store and you never want to take it out of the box. As you can see, these colors didn't come organized for some reason, so I grouped them according to color and tone. Okay, so now I'm going to peel off all the lids on these colors. Some people recommend leaving the lids on half so that the paint doesn't dry easily, but I think it's a little bit messy if you leave the lids on halfway. So I decided to peel them all off, and I don't think it's much of a difference anyway. If it dries, then I can add water, so yeah. And anyway, it does come with this quite airtight cover, so I wasn't too worried about that. So I'm super glad that I finally opened these and I can start using them now. Because they have been sitting in my drawer for so long, I think some of the binder separated from the pigment, so there's this yellow oil on top of the paint. So, but I think it's still usable, so we'll try to mix that in later. Now I'm going to swatch each color in my sketchbook. So I started out thinking I would swatch them in solid colors, but then I decided to test their translucency by adding clear water and making a gradient. Unlike watercolor, the pigments from gouache don't flow as well, so these gradients aren't very smooth, but of course I already expected that. Since I'm so used to watercolors, it also took me a while to get used to the right ratio of paint to water, and in general I kept using either too much paint or too much water. But the paints are really vibrant and opaque when used pure, and surprisingly they're quite translucent when I added a lot of water. Here I'm trying to remove some of this gouache with a wet brush and a cloth, and it does work, but only to a certain extent. Next, I tried mixing some colors. The first one that I tried is ultramarine plus burnt sienna, which produced this grayish color, which is also very close to the color that I usually mix when I use watercolor. Then I tried mixing rose red with ultramarine and cobalt blue, and it became this really dark purple color. I then added some white to the purple, and it produced this light purple color similar to a lilac or lavender color. For the third color, I mixed some acid blue with lemon yellow, and I got this really bright green. So I then added a little bit of red to mute the green down. Next, I tried blending different colors together to see how easy it was to create a multi-color gradient, and I was overall quite impressed at how easy it was. For the separated binder, I did try stirring the paint with a plastic pick to try and mix the oil into the paint again, and I think it looks actually perfectly fine to paint with. So comparing this swatch done with gouache with my other watercolor swatch, right? So you can see that these gouache gradients aren't very smooth when you compare them with watercolor, but they are more vibrant, saturated, and opaque. Alright, so now I'm going to demo using this set of gouache to paint the Studio Ghibli scene. So this is actually my first painting using gouache. I have painted with watercolors, acrylics, and digitally, but somehow I needed so much courage to start painting with gouache. I think because I watched so many videos where other artists painted such flawless renditions, I kind of put all this pressure on myself not to fail. But then I thought, hey, who cares? I don't have to paint like anyone else. I can just paint how I want to. So I started out with the sky color, and it sort of became like an underpainting. And it was a little bit streaky, but I wasn't worried because I would be covering most of the blue with other layers. Painting clouds with gouache looks easy, but as you can see, I made a really weird sort of glob, and I think I used too much water, so I left that to dry first and painted the hills and the greens first. When the white was more dry, I went in with less water and more paint, and I tried to lay in a thicker layer with more organic looking strokes. So yeah, I think it started to look a little bit better than before. Painting with gouache feels a lot like painting with acrylics. It even feels a little bit like I'm painting digitally because I put in the shapes with a base color first when I paint in acrylics and when I use like Photoshop or Procreate. And then after I've had the basic colors and shapes done, I add in more values and shadows to sort of build up some volume in the painting. For this painting, the best part for me was of course adding the flowers. I mean, it's basically the easiest part and you don't have to think too much for this stage. You just keep making dots and filling in the greens with different colors. I think what makes this painting really stand out is all the little details. So I used my tiniest brush, which here is a size 0, to make some blades of grass. And this is based on the original scene from Howl's Moving Castle. In fact, the original scene has even more details. Right, so it's done. And there's this little bit here that I used white gouache to correct. One thing, it's definitely easier to correct things with gouache as compared to watercolor. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do like, subscribe, and comment if you found this video helpful to you, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.